consciousness sincerely, and especially the process of chanting sincerely, this is Krishna's promise that we will all go back to the spiritual world. Krishna will take us back. So in this world, uh, we are all crying in this world. We are not crying for Krishna. We are crying for the things of this world, right? Actually, we should be crying that we have forgotten Krishna and come here, but we are crying for the things of this world. But if we perfect our life, we will actually go back to Krishna, the abode of the Lord, where there will not be any lamentation. We can be permanently happy in the spiritual world. So they say in English that when we are born in this world, we cry and everyone else is happy. Isn't it? When you are born, the child is crying, everyone else is smiling, happy birthday. Ideally, the perfection of life is when you leave the world, you should be smiling, everyone else should be crying. It means everyone should feel that this person has lived such a beautiful life, now he is departing. So this is the perfection of life, living life in such a way that we can actually attain Krishna in this life. So Lord Krishna in the next shloka, a very important verse again, text 6, Lord Krishna says, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam त्यजति अंत कलेवरम तम तम एवति कौंतेय सदा तद bhava bhavita. So Lord Krishna is saying, is in text 5, Lord Krishna explained that if you remember about Krishna at the time of death, you go back to Krishna. But in text 6, Lord Krishna is saying, if you don't remember Krishna, or if you remember anything else in this world, accordingly you will be born again. Sada tad bhava bhavita. That means whatever our consciousness, Chetana, is at the time of death, accordingly we will get a body, right? And Prabhupada gives this example of Bharat Maharaj. You know the story of Bharat? Bharat Maharaj was the son of Rishabdev, a very great soul, very advanced. Bharat Maharaj, when he reached a particular age, he gave up his kingdom to his sons and he goes to the forest to do tapasya. Generally, this was the principle. When someone becomes elderly, he retires and then goes to the forest. So Bharat Maharaj was doing tapasya in the forest, but he comes across a small baby deer. And Bharat Maharaj becomes very attached to the deer. And while he's leaving his body, he thinks of the deer. He doesn't think of Krishna. He's thinking of the deer. And thinking of the deer, he dies. And Lord Krishna, as he explains here, next life he is born as a deer. So what do you think at the time of death? Accordingly, we will get our next body. So if we don't think of Krishna, we are not going to go back to Krishna. We'll come in this world in different ways. And Srila Prabhupada, again in this purport, Prabhupada mentions here, therefore the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, is the best process for successfully changing one's state of being at the end of one's life. So you'll find this constantly that Prabhupada does in this particular chapter. Prabhupada is mentioning time and again, the importance of chanting Hare Krishna. So if we chant Hare Krishna, there is good possibility that we'll go back to Krishna. If we don't chant Hare Krishna, what we think at the time of death, accordingly we will have to take a birth again. So this is a very beautiful chart. Everyone has different desires in life, different aspirations in life. A non-devotee, a person who's not a devotee, for him, for Krishna, he always says a no. For Maya, it's always a yes. When someone begins Krishna consciousness, so this is the progress a devotee has to go through. When someone begins Krishna consciousness, he says yes to Maya, but he doesn't say no to Krishna. He tells Krishna, wait. Gradually, when he becomes a little more advanced, he says yes to Krishna, but he doesn't have the capacity to say no to Maya. He says wait to Maya. And then gradually when he becomes more advanced, a pure devotee, he says a no to Maya and a yes to Krishna. And when someone is really perfect, for him, there is no Maya at all. Because he's completely in Krishna consciousness. There is nothing as illusory energy for him. So we all have to progress in life. Just like in school, someone keeps progressing. So in Krishna consciousness, we all have to progress. We have to come to a platform where we say yes to Krishna and gradually learn to say no to Maya. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam. We have to accept things that are favorable to bhakti, and what is not favorable, we have to slowly stay away from it. This is practice. This is abhyas. This is tapasya. What does tapasya mean? Even something that you don't like, you do it. Like for children going to school, college, it's tapasya only, na? I don't know any child or a student who really loves going to school and college. There may be very few. But for most, it is tapasya. But you do that tapasya so that you have a better future. So similarly, in Krishna consciousness, spiritual life may be difficult. Spiritual life is not easy. It may be difficult to control the senses, to practice bhakti, to sit and chant Hare Krishna. May be a struggle. But then when we practice this, then our future is very, very bright. So this is the story of Bharat, where Bharat Maharaj remembered a deer at the time of death and he was born as a deer. So therefore, Lord Krishna's conclusive message in this section, Lord Krishna is saying here, text 7, Tasmat. Tasmat means therefore. So what is Lord Krishna's conclusion? Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yuddhacha. Tasmat means therefore. So Krishna is not saying, okay, you have to chant Hare Krishna, you have to practice bhakti, give up everything and only chant Hare Krishna. No, not that. So Lord Krishna is saying, we need not go to extremes. One extreme is just don't do Krishna consciousness, just do material activities. Another extreme is just do Krishna consciousness, don't do anything material. Lord Krishna is saying balance it out. You don't have to give up your duties and your profession. That's not what Lord Krishna is encouraging. Lord Krishna is telling here, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yuddhacha. Tasmat means therefore, sarveshu kaleshu, always in every circumstance, every situation. What we are supposed to do? Two things. Remember Krishna and fight. What does fight mean? You'll really fight, yeah? Fight means do your duty. Doing your duty in this world is fighting only. You have to fight with so many situations. So Lord Krishna is saying, do your duty and chant Hare Krishna continuously. Similarly, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in South India, when Mahaprabhu comes to this place called Kurma Kshetra, there was one Kurma Brahman who tells Mahaprabhu that, my dear Lord, I just want to give up everything and come with you. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells him, don't do this. Aiche baat kabun na kahiba, grihe rahi Krishna nama nirantara laiba. So Mahaprabhu, same instruction. Mahaprabhu, the same Krishna who comes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's telling this Kurma Brahman, you don't have to give it up. You don't have to give up your family and go. Grihe rahi, stay at home. But what you have to do? Krishna nama nirantara laiba. Continuously chant Hare Krishna. The same message Krishna is giving here. Mam anusmara yuddhacha. Think of Krishna and continue your duties. Chant Hare Krishna and continue your duties. And Prabhupada again mentions here, one can continue them at the same time, think of Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna. Prabhupada is like very clear. Prabhupada is crystal clear. Prabhupada has gone one step ahead of Krishna. Krishna is saying, think of me, think of me. Prabhupada is very clear. Thinking of Krishna means chanting Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada is saying this instruction is very, very important. The Lord doesn't tell, give up your duties, do what you are doing. But while doing them, continuously chant Hare Krishna. And the Prabhupada mentions here, by chanting Krishna's name, one will be transferred to the spiritual planet without a doubt. So this is Lord Krishna's instruction. Prabhupada, he would explain this in a very funny way. Prabhupada would say, Lord Krishna didn't tell Arjuna, you go and sleep in the chariot at the back and I will fight for you. See, Krishna is personally there in the chariot of Arjuna. But Krishna didn't fight the war. Arjuna had to fight. So Krishna will be there, but the effort we will have to put. In Damodar Leela, you have this two fingers, na? Whenever Yashoda is trying to tie Krishna, 2 finger short. What does this 2 finger represent? One is Krishna's mercy and other is your effort. Krishna's mercy will come only when our effort is there. So we have to work hard. We have to work hard even in a material life. We are not devotees are not lazy. Devotees are very hardworking. But along with that, we are not compromising in our spiritual life. Spiritual life also has to be very, very effective. The sadhana also has to be very, very nice. So this is what Lord Krishna is explaining here. So these set of 3 verses are very important verses. 5, 6, 7. In these 3 verses, Lord Krishna not only explains the art of living, but also the art of living. What is the art of living? How do you live life? Continue your duties, but chant Hare Krishna. So the art of living means mala should always be there. Keep chanting Hare Krishna. That is the art of living. And when we do that, then at the time of death, we'll be able to think of Krishna and we will go back to the spiritual world. And in the spiritual world, there is no work there. Only chanting Hare Krishna. Right? So this is the process. Like Haridas Thakur, throughout his life he chanted. And at the time of death, he could chant Hare Krishna with devotees, with Mahaprabhu. And then he perfected his life. So this is the way we should actually live our life. Do what we are doing and remember Krishna. Text 7. Text 8. Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanya gamina paramam purusham divyam yati partanu chintayan. So Lord Krishna is saying Abhyasa yoga yuktena. Again, Lord Krishna is saying Abhyas means practice. Everyone becomes perfect by practice. Any athlete, any person who becomes expert, he becomes expert only by practice. What you practice, more and more, you become more and more expert in it. Like children who learn mridang, the more you practice mridang, the more free your hands will get. The more you practice singing, the more better you will get. So anything in life we have to practice. Similarly, if you have to remember Krishna at the time of death, Abhyasa yoga yuktena, we have to continuously practice. So Lord Krishna is saying here, if someone practices in this way, undeviated, such a person definitely will reach to me. So this is Lord Krishna's promise here. See, in this world, how much ever we try to enjoy in this world actually really doesn't satisfy us. So one time, in the Western world, in some ISKCON temple, there was a Govardhan Puja festival. And these devotees had made a huge Govardhan cake. A cake which is like huge, the size of like a Govardhan. And devotees were doing parikrama of this Govardhan cake. And after the Govardhan Puja festival, this is one festival all devotees really love. Because there's a lot of prasad to eat. So all the devotees were looking at that cake only. I don't know how much Govardhan conscious they were. They were very cake conscious. They were looking at that cake. Right? Like when you go to Mayapur or any ISKCON temple, when you see all those cakes there, you become so attracted to that. So they were so attracted to this cake, they were just waiting when the kirtan will get over, Aarti will get over, we'll get cake. All the devotees were sitting, and when pieces of cake were given, so excited, they didn't eat anything else, they started to eat that cake. But when they ate that cake, it was salty. They thought probably this side is salty. They turned it around, the other side is also salty. Every side they turned, it was salty. Because the cook, instead of sugar, he put salt. So this is material world. You may have a desire to enjoy, but you will never be satisfied. Like someone who's thirsty, you may be living in front of the ocean, but that water cannot quench your thirst because it's salty basically. Similarly, in this material world, we may have a desire to enjoy, but nothing in this world will actually satisfy us. So Lord Krishna is explaining here, if we are intelligent, we will keep the end in mind. We will understand that at some time we will have to give up our body. We will keep that in the focus and live life in such a way that we can attain Krishna, not get attracted to the things of this world. One time, there was one person, who was his ship got, his ship was almost drowning. He just swam and reached a particular land. And when he reached that place, an unknown land, first time he's reaching there, all the people staying in this land, they got him and they crowned him as the king. So their rule was, anyone they find like this coming into their kingdom, they will make him the king. So this fellow asked, I am become the king now. What did you all do to the previous king? Someone before me also might have come here. You would have made him a king. So they tell this person, we make this person a king for 1 year. After 1 year, we throw him in an island where there is nothing and that person dies. So this fellow understood, 1 year I'm going to be a king. They're going to treat me royally. After 1 year, they will also throw me in this island. So you know what he did? This 1 year, he started to send different items to that island. He started to make a house in that island. He started to send food in that island. He started to create everything. So after 1 year, he was thrown in that island. He was very, very happy. Yesterday, we had a program in one island here. Next to Sharao, there's one island, Diwar. And in Diwar, there is another island called Vanshi. This island, only 20 houses. Total population of the island is 160. That's it. It's the smallest island. You can take parikrama of the entire island in 5 minutes. So imagine this. This guy was thrown in that island, but very intelligent. He was the king, but he was not just enjoying the facility of the king. He was planning for the future also. Similarly, this is the way we have to live life. As we live in this world, we have to also plan for next life, whether we want to go back to the spiritual world or not. So this is the way we should actually live life. Plan in such a way that our future is better. And that is what Lord Krishna is trying to tell here. Abhyasa yoga yuktena. One has to be very focused, undeviated from the path. See, the path of bhakti, many people may start it, but most people will not reach the end. It is not easy to reach the end. We have to be very, very focused. Therefore, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, coming regularly to satsangs, reading Srila Prabhupada's books regularly is so important. Because Maya is so powerful, if few days you don't come to satsang, you don't read books, you will get deviated away. So therefore, Lord Krishna is saying here, someone who remembers me without deviation is sure to reach me. So our only hope is association of devotees. When we come regularly in satsang, there is some chance that we may reach Krishna towards the end of our life. So this is the second part of this section of this particular chapter. The first part was verse number 1 to 4, where Arjuna is expressing 8 questions to Krishna, the doubts that Arjuna had. 5 to 8 is Lord Krishna explaining how one should give up our life, give up our body at the end of life. Now, the third section, 9 to 26, a long section, Lord Krishna is explaining how one actually attains the Supreme. So in text 9, which is a very important verse, you all can repeat this verse after me. Kavim Puranam Anushashitaram Anoraniyam Sa Anusmaredya Sarvasya Dhataram Achintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parasta. So Lord Krishna is time and again in this few verses, Lord Krishna has been explaining, meditate on me, think of me. So here Lord Krishna is also explaining how we should think about Krishna. So here he's saying how to remember the Lord. First, Kavim. Kavim means the Lord is the knower of everything. We may know something, but we don't know everything. Lord Krishna means he knows everything. He is Trikaladarshi. He practically knows everything that is going to happen. In the Mahabharata, when Arjuna was fighting with Jayadratha, you all know the story? I'll not get into the detail of the story. When Abhimanyu was killed, the son of Arjuna, one of the main conspirators was Jayadratha. Because the Chakravyuh was formed, Abhimanyu entered the Chakravyuh, and when the Pandavas were entering, Jayadratha stopped all of them. So Arjuna takes a vow that because of Jayadratha my son was killed, Arjuna decides, tomorrow before sunset I will kill Jayadratha, otherwise I will die. So Dronacharya arranged the army in such a way that Jayadratha was right at the end. And their plan for the day was Arjuna should not reach Jayadratha. Because if Arjuna doesn't reach, Arjuna will die. So but Lord Krishna maneuvered the chariot in such a way, just before sunset, Arjuna reached Jayadratha. And Arjuna was taking his arrow to kill Jayadratha, to cut the head of Jayadratha. Lord Krishna said, don't just cut his head. You have to cut his head in such a way that little ahead, in Samanta Panchaka, there is a place in Kurukshetra, Jayadratha's father is doing meditation with his eyes closed. Cut his head in such a way that his head should go and fall at the lap of his father. Because Jayadratha had a boon. Anyone who cuts his head, if his head falls on the ground, that person would die. So Lord Krishna was so intelligent, he knew everything. He told Arjuna, cut his head in such a way that it will fall on the lap of his father. So it fell on the lap of his father, and his father threw the head of Jayadratha down. So his father also died. So that fellow also was a demon. So Lord Krishna was so intelligent, he knew everything. So Lord is Kavin. Kavin means he's the knower of everything. Puranam. Puranam means he's the oldest. Lord Krishna is the oldest, but still Lord Krishna is Nava Yovanam cha. He still looks very, very young. And then Lord Krishna is saying Anusashitaram. That means Lord Krishna is the controller. So we need to realize in this world that we may think we are controllers, but actually we are not controllers. We are just controlled by Krishna. Prakate kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. We think that we are doers, but actually we are not doers. The one who is doing it is Krishna. In the Ramayana, when Hanumanji is taking this jump towards Lanka from Rameshwaram, Mahindra Parvat, Hanumanji has a very beautiful mood. Hanumanji is thinking, I am like Lord Ram's arrow. When Lord Ram would shoot an arrow and that arrow would hit the target, the credit would be taken by whom? Ram or the arrow? Whom will you give the credit to? The one who shot the arrow. So Hanumanji was thinking, I am going to do all this work. I will do a lot of things, but I am not the one who is doing it. It is Ram who is doing it through me. So great devotee like Hanuman, he is never proud. He understands that I am not the controller, I am not the doer. It is Krishna who is actually doing and controlling. So this is the third way we can remember Krishna. He is actually the controller. And then Lord Krishna is saying here, Anor Aniyamsha. That means Lord Krishna is smaller than the smallest. Like you have an atom, the smallest particle. So even in that atom, the power for the atom to work is given by Krishna. The Brahma Samhita explains that Lord is there in every atom. The Lord as a Paramatma is there in every atom, making every atom work. So the Lord is smaller than the smallest. And the Lord is bigger than the biggest, and he's also the maintainer. Sarvasya Dhataram. He's the maintainer of everyone. In this world, to maintain one family is difficult. Yes or no? Family of 4, nuclear family. Okay, now the nuclear family is becoming more and more nuclear. Right? To maintain one small family is so difficult. Lord Krishna's family is so big. So many children, so many insects, so many animals. Lord Krishna is maintaining all of them. Isn't it? So Lord Krishna, if you understand this one thing, you will develop so much love for Krishna. Krishna is so magnanimous. It's not that he's only maintaining devotees. He's maintaining non-devotees also. Those who are rebelled against him, Lord Krishna is maintaining them, giving them food. So Krishna is ultimately the maintainer of all of us. Achintya Rupam. Achintya Rupam means the Lord's form is inconceivable. What does inconceivable mean? That means you cannot understand it. We may try to understand, but still we have to understand that we cannot understand. Like in Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 14th chapter, after Brahma Vimohan Leela, Brahmaji is offering prayers to Krishna. Brahmaji is saying, my dear Lord, many people may tell that they have understood you, but as far as I go, I am confident that I have not understood you. Brahma, who is the creator, the author of the entire Vedas, Brahma is saying, very difficult to understand you. So Krishna is inconceivable. We cannot conceive Krishna just through our mind and senses. Only through service, when Krishna reveals himself, we can actually conceive who Krishna is. Aditya Varnam. Aditya Varnam means Krishna is luminous like the sun. That's like the sun is so powerful. Krishna is millions of suns put together. If one sun is so powerful, imagine if millions of suns are together, how powerful that light will be. So that is Krishna. Aditya Varnam. Tamasa Parastar. Tamasa Parastar means Krishna is transcendental to the material world. These three modes, Sattva, Raja, Tamo, they affect us, but they don't affect Krishna. Krishna is beyond the three modes. So one of the name of Krishna is Triguna Tirtha. Krishna is beyond the three modes. Krishna is called Nirguna. You have heard this word? When we call God Nirgun, what does Nirgun mean? It doesn't mean that he doesn't have qualities. It doesn't mean that he doesn't have material qualities. He is completely transcendental. Triguna Tirtha, like that. So Krishna is Tamasa Parastat, transcendental to the material world. In this way, we have to understand Krishna. So if you want to go back to the spiritual world, it's very important that we spend time understanding Krishna. So that's what Krishna is recommending here. When we understand the qualities of Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna, we can all go back to the spiritual world. So now, in this world, uh, there are different belief systems that we have in life. See, ultimately, the process of Krishna consciousness is basically changing our belief systems. In this world, we have a belief system that I am the enjoyer, right? I am this body. These are all belief systems that we have. When we come to satsangs, when we read Gita, slowly our belief system is changing. Slowly our desires, our aspirations are changing, right? Right now we are choosing material things. Slowly we are shifting to choose Krishna. Like today evening, we could have been doing so many things, but you are making a choice to choose Krishna because we are slowly prioritizing Krishna. So when Lord Krishna is mentioning this verse, we saw in the sixth verse, Lord Krishna is explaining, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajyati anta kalevaram tam tam evati kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavita. Lord Krishna is saying, whoever thinks of me at the time of death, whatever he thinks of at the time of death, accordingly he will get a body. That means the physical form depends on our mental form. What is our belief? What kind of desires, what kind of aspirations we have, accordingly we will get a physical form. So we have to learn to change our belief systems. So first thing we have to realize that I choose. The first aspect of the belief system is I choose. Now we are in a particular situation. Why? Because we chose something in the past. We made certain decisions, we made certain choices, we are there now. Now if you want to change our future, at this point we have to choose rightly. It is all about choice. Life is basically about moment to moment choice. Every moment we will have a choice, Krishna or Maya. Every moment we will have a choice. Today is Monday. Today you all chose to come here. Next Monday again you will have a choice. Whether to come to satsang or somewhere else. The next Monday again we will have a choice. So every moment we have a choice whether we want to choose Krishna or Maya. So the first principle we understand is I choose. The power to choose is with us. We have to encash on this power. Second part of the belief system is I can. Once we choose something, we should have will. One is the desire. The second is the will to do it. I can be Krishna conscious. So this is called affirmations, positive affirmations. People use affirmations in so many different ways for material things. So we have to be very affirmative and positive in Krishna consciousness. That I can chant my rounds. So if you have this mood that I cannot chant, we will never be able to chant. So we should feel that I can chant my 16 rounds, I can chant my 16 rounds well, I can do these things. So when we have this kind of belief system, that energy builds up. So this is the second part. First is I can, I choose, I can, and then I will. We understand that this is important, and then we do it. And then when we have the first three things, when we choose, when that will is there, I can, and then you actually do it, then you have something with you. You get it in your life. So similarly, if we want Krishna in our life, we first have to choose Krishna. Second is, we have to have faith that I can achieve Krishna in this life. I will achieve Krishna in this life, that kind of faith. And then finally we will have Krishna. Right? So anyone who gets anything in this world actually goes through these things. You have to choose, you have to have confidence, and then you will have that with you. Rukmini Maya, when she wrote that letter to Krishna from Vidarbha, she sent that letter to Krishna in Dwarka. So Rukmini Maya in the letter, she has this kind of mood. She tells Krishna, I choose you. So Rukmini says, Shishupal is about to marry me. But Rukmini says, I want to marry only you. So she chose Krishna. And she chose Krishna in such a way that she's telling Krishna, I am ready to wait for millions of lives, but I will marry you only. So she chose Krishna in a very powerful way. And then she had full faith that, my dear Lord, I am ready to pay any price. I am ready to do any tapasya to get you. So because Rukmini had all these three things, she chose Krishna, she had confidence that she will get Krishna, she was ready to pay the price. Therefore, finally, she got Krishna in her life. So in all her life, if you want to purchase Krishna, if you want to have Krishna in your life, these three things are very, very important. The desire, the will, and the ability to continue that desire. So in this section, from verse number 10 on, Lord Krishna explains something called Mishra Bhakti. Before Lord Krishna comes to the pure Bhakti part, something called Mishra Bhakti. So in Bhagavad Gita, you have set of verses that explain pure bhakti also, and there are set of verses that explain Mishra bhakti. What does Mishra bhakti means? Mixed devotion. Just like you have this milk guy, this milk seller, right, on the screen. So this fellow will have milk and then he'll put some water also in it. Because business करना है, pure milk का business करेंगे तो पैसा कमाए, he'll not be able to earn money, right? So थोड़ा बहुत तो मिश्रण होता ही है. Understood? Even if that guy tells you pure milk, you have to understand that there is some mixture in it. So similarly, and you can see this fellow smiling also very nicely. He's like confident. It's all mixed. So you have Mishra Bhakti and you have pure Bhakti. So what ultimately appeals our heart is pure Bhakti. But here from text 10 onwards, Lord Krishna is explaining something called Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Yoga Mishra Bhakti means the element of Bhakti is there but mixed with Yoga. So this section is called Sata Chakra Yoga. Especially the yogis who try to raise their chakra, right? And then from the top of their head, the chakra shoots out and they attain the spiritual world. So that process is not recommended for devotees, but Lord Krishna is mentioning here from text 10. So Lord Krishna is saying such a yogi who fixes his life hair between the eyebrows and an undeviating mind remembers the Lord, such a person actually attains the spiritual world. So this is Sata Chakra Yoga. So Lord Krishna, after explaining this whole thing, Lord Krishna is saying here, this process, so from 10 to 13, Lord Krishna is explaining the Shata Chakra Yoga. How someone practices chanting of Omkar, raises the chakra, closes all the senses like that. But then Lord Krishna is saying, this process is not easy for people of Kali Yuga. Very difficult process. What is the easy process? Text 14. You all can repeat this verse after me. Ananya Cheta Satatam Yomam Smaranti Nityasha Tasyaham Sulabha Partha Nitya Yuktasya Yogina. So 10 to 13, that section of mixed devotion, Yoga Mishra Bhakti, raising your chakra, is not easy for Kali Yuga. So Lord Krishna is saying, which is the easy process? In text 14, Lord Krishna is explaining, Sulabha. Sulabha means easy to obtain. What is the easy process? Ananya Cheta Satatam. Ananya Cheta. Ananya Cheta means undeviating. Ananya means nothing else. Anya means others. Ananya means nothing else. Only Krishna. So when someone is very focused, when someone remembers Krishna, Ananya Cheta Satatam Yomam Smarati. So what we should be remembering? We should be remembering Krishna without deviation. Without getting deviated here and there, we have to remember Krishna. This is our practice. And then Lord Krishna in this verse, if you see this verse here, Lord Krishna is using three words. Satatam. What does Satatam mean? Always. Then Lord Krishna is using the word Nityasha. What does Nityasha means? Always. And then Nitya Yukta again means always. So three times Lord Krishna is saying, in all time, in all place, in all situation. One should be very focused on Krishna. If you can do this, very easily one can attain Krishna. So this is how Lord Krishna is explaining. There's one process, Yoga Mishra Bhakti, which is very difficult. But the pure devotional service is very, very simple. Very, very simple. If you remember Krishna continuously, always, then one can very easily attain Krishna. So one is a difficult process, one is a very, very easy process. So this is what Lord Krishna is saying here. And then in text 15, Lord Krishna says, Mam upetya punarjanma dukalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramangatim. So Lord Krishna is saying, after attaining me, the great souls, one minute. And वो वाला वायर दबाइए. Okay. So Lord Krishna is saying here, so if you remember Krishna like this, then what happens? After attaining Krishna, Mam upetya punarjanma dukalyam ashashvatam. If you attain Krishna, then what will happen? You will not have to come back here. Okay? This world is a good place. Do you think it's a good place? Difficult place. Dukalyam ashashvatam. Lord Krishna is saying here, what is this world? Place of misery and temporary. Everyone's life, there is so much misery, so much anxiety, so much trouble. So Lord Krishna is giving a simple formula here. Practice bhakti, which is very, very easy, not difficult. It's not that you have to go to the Himalayas, do tapasya, all that. Just stay where you are and chant Hare Krishna. There's not even money involved in it. There's nothing involved in it. Just sit and chant Hare Krishna. It is made so simple. Just by chanting Hare Krishna, we'll go back to the spiritual world. Otherwise, we'll have to come back in this material world, which is full of misery. Lord Krishna is saying here, therefore, someone who is very, very intelligent, he will come in association of devotees, practice Krishna consciousness, and go back to the spiritual world, which is completely blissful. There is no misery, there is no temporariness. But if we don't go back to the spiritual world, we'll have to come back to this material world, which is filled with misery. Text 16, Lord Krishna says, so someone may say, okay, probably Goa is not very good. Let us shift the location and see. Let us go to America, probably it will be good, right? Or someone who's in America may think that America is not good. Let me go to the moon. Let me go to the heavens. Let me go to Brahmaloka, Shivalok, somewhere. I'll be happy. So Lord Krishna is saying here in text 16, A Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna Mamupetya tu Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. Beautiful verse. Lord Krishna is saying, my dear Arjuna, from Brahmaloka, highest planet, to the lowest planet, A Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna. In this material world, every place is a place of misery. And anywhere you go, you will have to die and then you will be born again in some other place. Even if you go to the heaven, once your punya is over, you will have to come back to the earth in some form or the other. Right? So Lord Krishna is saying here, don't try to settle in any of the planets in this world. Not Goa, not America, not anywhere in this world. Because anywhere you go, you will have to keep taking repeated birth and death. So Lord Krishna is saying, Mam upetyat kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. If you go back to Krishna, then you don't have to come back. If you go back anywhere else, you will have to come back here. So Lord Krishna is making us very clear, our destination should be Krishna. We are aiming for Krishna. Understanding? So we all have to, we may take some time to reach there, but our goal has to be very clear. That my dear Krishna, just like prayers of Rukmini, I was explaining this letter of Rukmini Maya. Rukmini is saying, I am ready to wait for millions of lives, but I want only you. So this should be our focus, that Krishna, I want you. I don't want to settle anywhere else. I want to settle only at your lotus feet. So then Lord Krishna is saying here, text 70, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Aharyat Brahmano Vidu Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam Teho Ratra Vidojana. So Lord Krishna is basically explaining here that Brahmaji may have a very long lifespan. Brahmalok. So Lord Krishna in the previous verse mentioned Brahmalok. Brahmalok, anyone who is there in Brahmalok, Brahmaji may have a very long lifespan, but his lifespan will also end at some point. So Prabhupada in the purport gives the calculation of Brahma's life. Right? So one day of Brahma is 1000 day matlab 12 hours, the morning part of Brahma, or not the night part. The first 12 hours of Brahma, how long it is? 1000 Divya Yugas. Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali is one Divya Yuga. And how much is Satya Yuga? Satya Yuga is 4 times Kali Yuga, the duration of it. Treta Yuga is 3 times Kali Yuga, Dwapar Yuga is 2 times Kali Yuga. So if you add this 4, 3, 2, 1, it becomes 10. So 12 hours of Brahmaji is 1000 into 10 Kali Yugas. Right? Kali Yuga is 4,32,000. So basically 10,000 into 4,32,000 is half a day of Brahma. The night is also that much. So that means one full day of Brahma is 2 into 10,000 into 4,32,000. That is one full day of Brahma. So like this, Brahma lives for 365 days, which is 1 year. Like this, he lives for 100 years. So now if you do this calculation, the lifespan of Brahma is 311 trillion 40 billion years. This is the lifespan of Brahma. But the point is, even after this huge lifespan, Brahma also has to die. You'll find in Ramayana, when Ravan is doing all this austerities and he's telling Brahma, make me eternal. Brahma says, I myself is not eternal. How I can make you eternal? So Brahma also has a very limited lifespan. So Lord Krishna is explaining here in the next set of verses, 18 and 19, Lord, what basically the Lord explains here is, see, if we don't go back to Krishna, what will happen? We'll keep taking births here. Maybe heaven, maybe somewhere else, we'll keep taking birth. So what happens is, in the day of Brahma, there are so many yuga cycles that go on. We may be born in millions of times in different species. Now when the night comes, when Brahmaji's night comes, everything that is there is all merged into Lord Vishnu's body. Annihilation happens. And again when the morning comes after 12 hours, that means after thousands of yuga cycles, when the day comes, again all the living entities come back. So Lord Krishna is saying here, this is what happens in this material world. What is happening? Look, if you see this verse, text 19, Bhuta grama sa evayam bhutva bhutva praliyate ratri agame vashapartha prabhavanti ahar agame. Again and again, when Brahmaji's day comes, the living entities come into being, and at the night they are annihilated. So this is what is happening to us. We born, we die, we are born, we are dying, and then at the time of Brahmaji's night, we are annihilated, and again when the day of Brahmaji comes, we are created. This process keeps going on and on. So Lord Krishna is saying, what kind of life this is? Being recycled again and again. Again and again, you're recycled, used. Lord Krishna is saying, forget this. Don't be interested in this life where you are reborn again and again in different ways. So what we are supposed to focus on, text 20, Parastasmatu bhava anya vyakto vyakta sanatana yahasa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. So Lord Krishna is saying, yet there is another nature which is eternal. So this material nature is continuously changing. Your bodies will change, you'll keep changing different forms. So Lord Krishna is saying, don't focus on this. What we are supposed to do is, Parastasmatu bhavanya. Beyond this material world which is continuously changing is another eternal world which is never annihilated. The material world matlab creation, destruction, creation, destruction. So Lord Krishna is saying, from here we have to go back to Vaikuntha, the spiritual world, which is eternal. No creation, no destruction, everything is eternal. So this is what Lord Krishna is encouraging in the 8th chapter, that we have to focus our desires on going back to that eternal abode. So now Lord Krishna in text 23, from 23 onwards, Lord Krishna explains how. So till now, what did the Lord explain? Basically, the Lord is explaining how at the time of death, one should think about Krishna. One should not think about coming back to the material world, which is Dukkalayam Ashashvatam. One should go to the spiritual world, which is eternal. So now someone may have a question, at what time one should give up their bodies? Or how will you come to know someone has gone to the spiritual world or someone is coming back? Someone has passed away. कैसा पता चलेगा कि वो भगवान के पास गए हैं कि वापस जन्म लिए हैं? हालांकि when someone passes away, पेपर में तो आता है स्वर्ग चले गए attain heaven, but who knows? It's all desire, wish only, but we really don't know where they are. So how do you know whether someone has gone to the spiritual world or someone has returned? So Lord Krishna from 23 onwards, he's telling Arjuna, I will tell you how at different times when someone leaves the body, you can come to know whether he's gone back to the spiritual world or not. So that means if you're planning your departure, plan it properly. Farewell, अच्छे से plan करना. Therefore, Bhishma Dev, when he was lying, he had Ichchamaran. Bhishma Dev was waiting for what? Uttarayan. Because Uttarayan is a good time to pass away. So if any of you are like Bhishma Dev, you all can plan, Ichamaran. So Lord Krishna is saying here, text 24, Agnir Jyotir Aha Shukla Sanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra Paryata Gachanti Brahma Vidojana. So Lord Krishna is saying, anyone who passes in these times goes to the spiritual world. What? Agnir Jyotir Aha Shukla. So at the time when the fiery god is there, the influence of Agni is very strong. Or in the day, not in the night, in the day when the sun is there. First is when Agni is very prominent in the day when it is morning time, or at auspicious moments in the day. There are different auspicious timings in the day. This is the third thing. Or during the 15 days of Shukla Paksha. The moon has two Pakshas, 15 days of Krishna Paksha, which is called the waning phase, and Shukla Paksha is the waxing phase. So anyone who passes the world, passes away, dies during the Shukla Paksha in the day when the fire god is very active, or 6 months of Uttarayan. Now it is Uttarayan? Now it's Uttarayan still going on. It starts from Makar Sankranti. 6 months, such a person reaches the spiritual world. Not spiritual world, but at least attains a greater destination. Now next verse, Lord Krishna says, Drumoratris tata Krishna Sanmasa Dakshinayanam Tatra Chandramasam Jyotir Yogi Prapya Nivartate. So a yogi, so basically Lord Krishna will explain here ahead, this doesn't apply to devotees, but those who are yogis, because Lord Krishna here is explaining about that Mishra Yoga Mishra Bhakti, right? For the people who are doing this Shatta Chakra Yoga, they are very calculative about timings, right? So Lord Krishna is saying here, anyone, a yogi like this, who passes away during smoke, not during fire, during smoke, or in the night, or during the waning phase, Krishna Paksha of the 15 days of the moon, or during Dakshinayan, such a person returns to the world. He doesn't attain a great destination. This is what Lord Krishna says. So someone may get a little worried that, so what will happen to me? What if I pass in the night? Or what happens if I pass this way, that way? Will I be coming back? So Lord Krishna is explaining here, text 27. So the last two verses, so this is the acronym for this chapter, dead. So the first 4 verses was Arjuna's doubt. The next 4 verses was Lord Krishna explaining the end of life, how one should leave one's body. The next set of verses from 9 to 26, a long set of verses, how to attain the Supreme, Lord Krishna is explaining here. So now Lord Krishna in the last 2 verses is summarizing that for devotees, this doesn't apply. What doesn't apply? Timings of death doesn't apply to devotees. Text 27. Naite stri pata janan yogi muyyati kaschana tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yogo yukto bhavarjuna. So Lord Krishna is saying here, although devotees know the 2 paths, they are never bewildered. They are not too much bothered about it, because they are fixed in Krishna. So again, we saw this word tasmat come before, right? Tasmat, therefore Lord Krishna says, tasmat ma manusmara yuddhacha, think of me and fight. So Lord Krishna again is saying here, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yogo yukta bhavarjuna. Almost same thing. There also Lord Krishna says, tasmat, what was that verse that Lord Krishna spoke there? Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. There also same thing. Ma manusmara yuddhacha. Text 7, Lord Krishna is saying here, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara yuddhacha. Again Lord Krishna towards the end is saying here, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukta bhavarjuna. So my dear Arjuna, don't be bewildered about this timing, that timing. Be focused on Krishna. So Prabhupada is saying here, a devotee in the purport, a devotee of the Supreme Lord should not be worried whether he will depart by arrangement or by accident. Doesn't matter. So we may have this question, a devotee has cancer, he met with an accident, passed away, whether he will come back, not come back. Don't get confused, don't get bewildered. A devotee doesn't think in this way. A materialistic guy may think like that. But a devotee doesn't have to worry about all these things. Shubh Muhurat nahi tha, yajna karo, wo karo. Devotee doesn't have to bother about all this. So Lord Krishna is saying the best way, Prabhupada is mentioning here, a devotee should be firmly established in Krishna consciousness and chant Hare Krishna. He should know certain that either of the two paths are troublesome. Therefore, the best way is to be absorbed in Krishna consciousness and dovetail one's energy in Krishna consciousness. In this way, one can be very, very safe. So, Prabhupada, as I mentioned to you, time and again, Prabhupada is mentioning the aspect of chanting Hare Krishna. So, a devotee is not bewildered by anything else. A devotee just chants Hare Krishna and is guaranteed for success. And then text 28, which is the last verse of this chapter. Vedeshu yaggeshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam atyeti tat sarvam idam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti chadhyam. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the result from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifice, undergoing austerity, giving charity, pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end, he reaches the supreme abode. So Lord Krishna is saying, you don't have to be worried about timings of death. You don't have to be worried about, अरे मैं भक्ति करूंगा तो ज्ञान का क्या होगा, ज्ञान मार्ग नहीं पालन कर रहा हूँ, मैं ध्यान नहीं दे रहा हूँ, वेद का पठन नहीं कर रहा हूँ, कर्म नहीं कर रहा हूँ. Lord Krishna is saying, just do devotional service, you will get the result of everything. कर्म करने का, ज्ञान करने का, दान करने का, सबका फल मिल जाएगा. And then at the end, you will attain Krishna. Atyeti tat sarvam idam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti chadyam. And ultimately, you will go back to Krishna. So basically, Lord Krishna is telling us that bhakti is the best path. It is all inclusive. Like you have like 1,000 rupee, 2,000 rupee note, all other smaller denominations are included. So if we practice bhakti, everything else is included and Krishna will take care of us. In the other parts, that the yogi is independent on his own, he is struggling on his own. But in the path of bhakti, Krishna assures, Krishna is promising. If you practice bhakti, definitely Krishna will take us back to the spiritual world. And we have been discussing time and again, Prabhupada has been stressing on this point. Bhakti means chanting Hare Krishna. So this whole chapter is meant to make us more convinced, help us to develop more faith in the process of chanting Hare Krishna. Chanting Hare Krishna may appear a very simple thing, but it's a very, very powerful thing. Just by chanting Hare Krishna, we make a lot of progress in spiritual life. So that is the summary of this chapter. Anyone has any questions? Any comments? Yes.
I have a question. When you said now in one shloka that we are not the doers, whatever we do is ultimately coming from the Lord Krishna. So then why do people say कि जो हमें मिलता है वो हमारे अच्छे या बुरे कर्मों का फल?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, we have been discussing karma also. So we saw that aspect of choice. What we do, what we get is because of what we have done. But that also depends on Krishna's sanction, ना? कृष्ण के अनुमति के बिना वो कर्म का फल भी नहीं आएगा, right? So what it means is, when we were discussing, I think one of the chapters before, we discussed this concept of three doers. Three doers. For any work to be done, there are three things that are needed. One is we, Atma. Other is Prakriti, material nature. And third is Krishna's sanction. Right? If any of one is missing, thing will not happen. Right? So if you are putting a lot of effort and all resources are with you, if Krishna's sanction is not there, you're not able to do it. So in that way, you may put effort. So when we say we are not the doers, that doesn't mean that we don't have to do anything. Our doing is also important, but our doing is not the all in all. Even after doing it, still we are dependent on Krishna's mercy. So that's the whole idea. We have to work and at the same time understand that our effort is not everything. Krishna's mercy is also needed. Like Prabhupada would give this example. Henry Ford, started this Ford company. He was actually a simple mechanic working somewhere else. He also worked hard. There may be many other people along with Henry Ford who might have worked very hard. But not everyone became Henry Ford. No? So if hard work is everything, if your work is everything, then why is not everyone Henry Ford? Because karma was there for everyone, but that sanction of the Lord was there with him. The Lord allowed him to become that successful. So we put our effort and simultaneously we understand that Krishna's mercy is also needed to become successful. So in that way, we don't become lazy. We put our effort, but then when we get success, we understand that we are not the only doers. Krishna's sanction is also there. So we don't become proud of the success also.
So that means whatever good or bad karma we are doing, it's all about sanctioning from the Lord Krishna.
Pardon?
Whatever good or bad karma we are doing, we are not only the doer, it is sanctioned by the Krishna.
Good question. Catchy question. Catchy question. Yeah. So, sanctioned means what? Okay, you may say that the bad karma is sanctioned by the Lord. Sanction means, see, Lord Krishna, you may have a child and the father may tell the child, don't put your hand in fire. Okay? But पिताजी ने clear instruction दिया है, don't put your hand in fire. If the child is intelligent, the child will understand it and not put. But if the child is not intelligent, the child will put again and again. The father will try to tell 1 time, 2 times, and finally the father will say, ठीक है, डालो. So now when the father is saying डालो, what does it mean? So basically क्योंकि इतना जिद्दी है, सुनने वाला नहीं है, बोले डालो. एक बार डालेगा ना, समझ जाए. So this is called sanction. So when you say that someone wants to commit wrong and then the Lord sanction, it doesn't mean that he wants you to do it. He doesn't want you to do it. But because you're so adamant, Lord says, okay, do. When you suffer, you will understand. Understanding? So sanction doesn't mean that the Lord is wanting us to do it. What he wants us to do it is already spoken in the Gita. भगवान क्या चाहते हैं? बहुत बार लोग बोलते हैं ना, भगवान का इच्छा था, मैंने ये पाप कार्य कर दिया. भगवान का क्या इच्छा है? भगवान ने गीता में बताया है. What Krishna wants is already spoken in the Gita. He doesn't want you to commit sin. भगवान नहीं चाहता कि आप पाप करो, पर आप करते हो, बहुत जिद्दी हो. भगवान बोलते हैं ठीक है करो, बाद में तुम समझोगे. हाँ, उसका फल मिलेगा, वो समझेगा. You understood the idea?
वो जिद्दी बनने की जो ये रहती है, वो कौन देता है?
अभी आ रहा है एक के बाद एक प्रश्न. गीता सुन के लोग बुद्धिमान बन रहे हैं यहाँ पे. या वो बुद्धि कौन देता है? In the 3rd chapter of Gita, Arjuna is asking this question to Krishna. My dear Lord, someone doesn't want to commit wrong, but still there's some force that pushing us to do wrong. So Lord Krishna says, Kamesha Krodesha Rajagunat Samudbhava. This is lust, the desire to enjoy. Right? So how does this lust come? Being in this world, these propensities come. The nature of the material world is it's a contaminated place. Right? So when we leave the spiritual world and come to the material world, the contamination is less. But as you spend more time, the contamination becomes more and more strong. And you're forced. The association forces you to do something wrong. So the lust is such a force that it pushes you. So therefore, when we are in association of devotees, we can get saved. Slowly that lust will get transformed into the original love.
This world is created by the God, is saved, and why he created a contaminated world?
Basically, the contaminated. Okay. So what is the idea of contamination? So when we say Maya, what does Maya mean?
Maya is the relation of God.
So what is Maya? So what do you think is Maya?
One of the Shaktis.
Yeah, one of the Shaktis, but Maya is not in the objects. It is in our mind, our mindset. You understanding? So therefore, I showed you that slide. I said the perfect devotee, he says yes to Maya also, because for him there is no difference. You understanding? Maya is not in things. Like generally we use this terminology, don't go to that casino, that is Maya. That's what we say, no? But if someone is like a perfect devotee, even in a casino, you will see Krishna only. You understand the point? Because he's so Krishna conscious, his mind is so connected to Krishna, he will never get deviated. Understanding the point? So Maya is not in the things. Maya is not the material world. The material world is also the spiritual world. If you are Krishna conscious. Understanding? It's all your mindset. It's all your mindset. So why did Lord Krishna create the material world? This we have answered in our Journey of Self-Discovery course also. Because Lord Krishna created the material world for all of us. Because we wanted to enjoy separately of God. So Krishna said, it cannot happen in the spiritual world. You go to the material world and you try. So the material world, it has some problems. This is Krishna's arrangement. Krishna has put it in such a way that so that we don't stay here permanently, we go back to him. Okay? Take it. One sense the same thing, but someone who's like more advanced, you know. Someone is like a pure devotee, you may say is like Madhyam Adhikari. Someone is an Uttam Adhikari is like completely unaffected. For him, there is no difference. Vishwam Purnam Sukayate. Like Prabodhanand Saraswati, he says that, my dear Lord, the entire Lord Krishna is saying here, Dukale Mashaswatam. But Prabodhanand Saraswati is saying, my dear Lord, the entire universe is spiritual world for me. Because they are on a different platform altogether. For them, they are completely in Krishna conscious. Okay? Yeah.
Bhishma Pitamaha waited for Uttarayana to die. During the Kurukshetra war, he fell down. And in January, during Makar Sankranti, but he knew that he's a very learned person. He knew that Makar Sankranti, Uttarayana, Dakshina, usko मालूम नहीं. Now Prabhupada left his body in Dakshina. Why Bhishma waited for the Uttarayana?
Actually, Bhishma Dev waited more for Krishna. He waited more for Krishna. Yeah, externally, because the principles are there. You know, the Gita verses, Bhishma Dev wanted to show that I can choose, let me choose this also. See, a devotee, you know, if we have a choice, all of us now we would choose these things only, na. All of us will tell Krishna, let me also live in Uttarayan, let me also live in the day. Just that we don't have a choice. Bhishma Dev had a choice. So Bhishma Dev, definitely his faith was not invested in these things. His faith was in Krishna, but he had that facility, he just chose it. You understanding, no? Like someone asked Prabhupada, recently that Kumbh Mela happened, na? So Prabhupada in one place said, devotees are not interested in taking bath in Kumbh. Because the devotees practice bhakti, that is like greater. So Prabhupada is saying we are already liberated, we don't have to go and take snan. So then some devotees asked Prabhupada, should we actually go or not? So Prabhupada says, okay, some additional benefit you get, what is the problem? Understanding? थोड़ा और additional benefit मिल गया तो अच्छा ही है. ज़्यादा overconfidence भी अच्छा नहीं है. So Bhishma Dev had that mood that anyway I am going back to Krishna, but if Uttarayan is going to help me, then why not? Facility hai, let me leave the body in Uttarayan. No, there was no suffering for Bhishma Dev. Good question. So Bhishma Dev had so many arrows in his body, there was not even place for one finger to go through. So many arrows in his body. But by Krishna's mercy, Bhishma Dev didn't go through any suffering. There was no pain. So therefore Bhishma Dev could speak for months together. For literally a month or two, Bhishma Dev was speaking on Bhagavatam to all the Pandavas. He was not experiencing any pain. So that is Krishna's mercy. When you have that connection with Krishna, you may have to go through certain situations in life, but you are on a transcendental level. You're on a transcendental level. And we have seen so many devotees like that. Many of our devotees who have had this terminal cancer issues. Anyone who terminal cancer is like so painful. But we have had Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, Stok Krishna Guru, and so many devotees. Even at this end moment when they are going through so much suffering, they are still smiling. Because their faith is invested in Krishna. So that is the example of Bhishma Dev, that even if you may be in a difficult situation, if your consciousness is in Krishna, you're not experiencing, some amount of pain is there, but you're not getting affected by it because you're focusing on something higher. So Bhishma Dev's example is a very beautiful example for all of us to meditate on, how one should actually live life. Bhishma Dev was a very responsible person. He did all his duties, continuously chanting Hare Krishna, remembering Krishna. And at the final moment, he got such a wonderful destination. Lord Krishna personally standing there. So Bhishma Dev, he was such a position, he couldn't go to Krishna. So someone may be in a position at that time of death. See, what happens at the end of life is not under our control. You may be bedridden, there may be many things that may happen. It's not under our control. But what is under control is how we live life. If you can live life in a very Krishna conscious way, then at the final moment, even if you're not able to go to Krishna, you're not able to go to a temple, you will see Krishna coming in your life. Krishna will come to help you. Provided we live life in a very Krishna conscious way by prioritizing the process of chanting. Okay? Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So next week we will do the 9th chapter.